Alright folks, how you doing? This is my beautiful Smart and Brown lathe, yeah? Made sort of mid-late 40s or something like that. It's a wee bit rough and ready, you know. We just finished giving the Germans a bit of a kicking, and you know, times were hard and that, I suppose. So, but you know, the essential bits of this lathe are exceedingly good quality, and it's a bit special because we've actually got a placard on it that says RAE. I don't know, maybe that's Royal Aircraft Establishment, but I've got no proof to back that up. But I like to think so, because a lot of important things happen there. You know, like during the war they took you know, captured aircraft and analysed them and flew them and that. Yeah, and they had to make their own spare parts. I suppose if someone crashes a Junkers in Kent, then they'll have to make all the bits to get it airworthy so they can fly it and get the information they needed and that, I suppose. They invented a load of stuff as well, and all the really important British aircraft designers did a stint at RAE. So yeah, I mean, it's probably nothing to do with RAE, but the Royal Aircraft Establishment, it's just got RAE written on a placard down there. Either way, what else? Yeah, they invented carbon fibre. You know that back in the 50s or something like that. The Royal Aircraft Establishment imagine inventing carbon fibre. Anyway, and a few other things as well. But what? Yeah, because it is a bit of an oddball lathe. We can pass a whole inch bar straight through the headstock, which is very, very handy. But because of that, we've got a funny taper site, a funny spindle thread. The spindle's where the chuck bolts onto the lathe. We've got 1 3/4 inch, and there are some American lathes that use 1 3/4 inch, but then these this is my faceplate. I don't think I've ever even used this, but so we've got a register area here which is plain, and 1 3/4 inch by 8 inch, and there are some American lathes that use the 1 3/4 inch 8 thread, but you know, it cost me like 120 quid to get something shipped over from the States. They're like 90 quid buying the back plate already machined, and yeah, shipping's going to be murderous. So so what I've done, yeah, the whole point of this is I need to make a new back plate to put a new chuck on this lathe. So I just bought a blank, because you can buy these off eBay. This is a back plate blank, yeah, so we can do whatever we want with this. The problem is I've never cut a thread on a lathe before, yeah. So this is going to be or you know, I'm going to have to figure out what change gears I need and dial that in, and then very accurately bore this out and thread it. Chances of success? Well, I don't know. There is a chance of success, yes. Yes, there is. There is definitely a chance of success. We'll just throw this in the chuck, clean up the back, and bore a little hole. We can bore the minor diameter, so we'll bore out to the insides of these threads basically, and then start trying to figure out how to cut a thread on a lathe. And it's an internal thread, so probably a little bit trickier. I perhaps should get a bit of practice on threads first, but I'm not going to. We're just going to jump into it and do a really important job as my first ever lathe cutting exercise, thread cutting. I don't even know, you know, everything's still functional. So I don't even use the power feed on the saddle. So yeah, it's a big unknown, but it's something that needs doing. So we'll try and make it happen. Using an old an old tip to break the rough casting, and with all the slag and sand still in it, you know. No point wasting a brand new one for that. I'm going to use just going to go to a round bit, so I can put a nice radius in this inner corner here. Okay, so I've got the back of this back plate roughed out. I'm not going to take any more material off that. This is a lot wider than it needs to be, but I like the idea of putting 12 holes, and I haven't decided whether I want to do it in here or the larger diameter. But 12 holes at some point on this back plate, so that I can make something to attach to the lathe bed, and basically have an indexable chuck. And then, you know, I've seen people do is attach power heads to the cross slide, and then you can do things like you know, index this at 6 different points, and then you know, put 6 holes in there without any measuring or marking, which isn't a problem. I quite enjoy measuring and marking, to be honest, and getting 6 holes equally spaced is one of the few things I can do reliably, isn't it? But hey, I want to future-proof myself, so we're going to leave the meat on this back plate anyway, and I can do that at a later date if I want to. So now we need to just put the minor diameter, so the smallest diameter on this thread. We'll bore the whole back plate out to that, whatever that is. Suppose we've got to figure out what all this crap does, eh? And look at this then. This is very useful, isn't it? Eh? We've got a nice chart here. English pitches, BA, and metric. That's good. A nice enamelled plaque. Built to last. So we want 8 TPI. That means we need a 30 tooth driver, 65 driven and driver, and a 40 driven. That doesn't make much sense at the minute, but we'll try and get to the bottom of it, eh? Okay, so that's the spindle. I think that's 36 or something, but these two gears are both 36 as well. These are the forward and reverse, the tumble gears, so we're going to treat this as the spindle speed, this one here. Then on the back of that we've got a 36, 30, hang on. 30, 65 and 40, yeah? And that should give us 8 TPI. We think. Obviously we've got a 2-speed box doing the lead screw. I'm just leaving it in 1. I mean these markings on my box have been drawn on with white pen, but it doesn't say anything about the about that lever on the little placard. So I don't know. Kind of feel like I should do a test piece first. I'll just do a very light pass, and you know, and see if that's about 8 TPI. That should be a good way of doing it, I suppose. Just a very light pass. Yeah, we'll do that. Okay. Might give the lathe another clean down because it's covered in iron at the minute. Covered in cast iron chips. Okay, 55-degree internal semi-homemade tool, purchased, slightly machined, well no, it was rough when I got it, backplate blank, gears in the back. Oh, I'm going to stick some oil on those gears, yeah, that's what I'm forgetting. Okay, so what, tool, backplate, oiled the gears. Think we're set to 8 TPI. Just going to take a very light pass and then measure it. That gearbox there seems to be doubling the speed of the carriage, so you know, whatever that means. Yeah, kind of think I should just go for it now. Let's just go for it and see what happens. Okay, Godspeed, mon petit filou. I'm ready on the stop button. We do have an indicator here, but I think for now we're gonna just wing it without the indicator because I don't really understand that bit yet. We'll work on that. We'll work on that. One thing at a time. One thing at a time. Yeah. No, so it's definitely not right, is it? Look, that is a lot more than 18 TPI. This is the gearbox. I mean the gearbox. That looks more like 16 TPI than 8 TPI. Let's try and measure it. I've only done 1/4 of an inch. This rearmost bit of the back plate has got to be enlarged anyway, so it doesn't matter if I have a little bit of a balls up at this end. No, I'm just going to throw it into high, see what happens. I think it'll be alright. Okay, it's just yeah, we're not. Okay, this is the slowest this truck turns, the slowest spindle speed I can select, and the carriage does move pretty quickly, which is to be expected with 8 TPI. It's just oh, I should really set these stops, you know, or maybe that stop's going to get in the way. I don't think so. Let's just do it. Let's just do it. I do have a fair bit of space in order to shut this thing off. Are we actually going to cut? Don't know. Let's see. Ookie pookie, folks. Ookie pookie. Let's God, I wish I knew what I was doing. There's only one way to find out, isn't there? Probably reading a book. There's not much info on this thing, I'm afraid. Wish there was. Okay. Try that again, and we'll engage the brake when we need to stop it. I think that's a good idea. We could always throw that lever back, disengage the back gears. No, what would that do? Yeah, that'd work. That'd disengage it, wouldn't it? Okay, let's do this. Let's do this. Ready? You ready? We're ready. Okay, come on then. Oh God. Yeah, that looks like 8 TPI. God, so much guesswork. So much guesswork in one place. What am I doing? Okay, now I think what happens now is if I select reverse, it won't reverse the spindle, but this should stay in the same place in relation to the lead screw in the lathe. So it's switched off now. And there we go, that one's engaged now, so make sure that's well and truly in. I should have bollocks. Okay. Okay, so we just got a very faint mark on the inside of that bore. There we go. I'm just going to measure that, yeah, see what's coming out at. Well, that's exactly 8 TPI, so I'm kind of feeling a little bit more confident now. Not overly happy about the danger of ramming this into the chuck, but just have to stay on the ball, and we might wind it forward by hand. I'm still going backwards there. Okay, so forwards. Forwards is selected. Okay, let's do it. Yeah, ready? Yeah, let's do it. Okay, so this time what I want to do is make sure that we're cutting along the same groove. So I just want to make the little mark that I've already made, I want to make that fatter, and if I end up with 2 lines instead of making that one fatter, then I know I'm doing something wrong, don't I? If you've got about the right pitch, my cut is the right angle, now all that matters is making sure we follow the initial cut, I think. Okay, let's do this, let's do this. Oh, okay, right. Back gear's disengaged. Okay, back gear's re-engaged. What does that mean? Shouldn't affect us. Spindle's a spindle, isn't it? Okay, here we go. Oh yeah. Yep. We hit the same mark as before. Okay, let's just carry on doing this. We're doing the right thing. We are definitely doing the right thing. Where are we here? We're at 50. Okay. Now on closer inspection, I've actually cut a second thread, so that doesn't matter at the minute because the first one was ever so light. But I think what I'm going to do from now on is just wind it back on the spindle by hand. Yeah, it's really the only way I've got right now of guaranteeing that I don't mess it up. Okay, we do have a little bit of a problem. I stopped it so the tool post didn't run into the chuck, and didn't quite make it all the way through, and what then I started it up again, and that was, you know, perhaps a silly thing to do because it knocked the tip off my tool, my homemade tool, which isn't surprising. Fortunately, I do have a quick change tool post, so hopefully I'm not affecting anything by leaving this in the post and dressing it. I don't know, it's probably going to screw it up, but fucking trains. Not enjoying this this deep cutting with my homemade bit. I perhaps should buy some carbide bits or something that will do this job, but for now I guess we'll just have to take lighter cuts, won't we? What do I do there? Yeah, 10 thou, maybe that's a bit ambitious, eh? Well, you see, as the pointy bit gets deeper into the metal, it's removing more material. Even though the depth of cut's the same, it's removing more material per pass because it's got because it's sort of, there's more engagement on the chamfer, I suppose. This is getting a little bit tedious now, but it is working, so we'll carry on. Oh, wind it in twice. So I've got to go 2 turns and then to 85. So wind it backwards. 1 turn back, 2 turn back, and then 85. Okay. 5 thou, we'll try 5 thou. Nope, 5 thou is still too much. We are nearly there. We are nearly there. You can just see the last bit of flat on these threads just disappearing. So a few more cuts, but I'm going to have to go down to like 2 thou now, I suppose, or 3 thou, which means the next cut wants to be. Let's try 82 next, so that'll be a 3 thou cut. 0, 1, 2, knock that off, back we go, yeah. Okay, and bring it forwards. And done. And done. And then what do we say? 80. We'll go 82 on this one. 82. Drop the back gear back in. And hit it. Okay, yep, 3 thou then. That's what we want. Until it can he do 3 thou and needs a little helping hand. Okay, praise the Lord. I think I'm done on this back plate. Or with the thread anyway. Yeah. So what does that mean? I'm not entirely sure right now. Just happy that I'm done because it's getting bloody boring. Not really bloody boring, you know. The goal is in sight. The goal is like the carrot, isn't it? I've definitely achieved making something that looks like a thread. You know, now's the time to find out whether it's actually okay. So I'm pretty sure I can spin this whole chuck off and test this on the thread without disturbing this being centre. Obviously I'm going to throw out the pitch if I do that, but I'm kind of prepared to do that. Just take a little gamble. Let's unlock that. We can use the wheel. So how do I get this chuck off here? If we lock everything up on this lathe, keep the back gears engaged and that spindle locked as if we're in direct drive, and it should just pop off. Okay, it's the moment of truth, I reckon. Is it going to work or not? A little bit nervous. I mean, this is the nervous point that's led me to have this back plate on the shelf for a year and not actually do anything with it, you know. Okay. She's a tiny bit tight. Tiny bit tight. What does that mean? I'm not entirely sure. Let's see where it's tight. I suppose if it comes down to it, we can put a bit of die chem on the threads and wind it back on. I mean, yeah. Hopefully, I just need to knock the tops off the thread. Let's die chem that, because that's steel. And this is iron, and iron doesn't take to die chem too well. Well, it does, it marks up beautifully, but because the surface is always really, you know, really grainy in that. It's going to show up a lot better if we put the die-cam on this. So this is a sort of collet spindle. I've got a set of collets that I can put in there. It's really big spindle for a lathe of this size, you know. Look at me bragging about the size of my spindle, eh? Oi, oi. Yeah, sorry lads. Sorry lads, but I've got a massive spindle. What I've forgotten what I'm doing now. Bollocks. Oh yeah. Dicem. Hola, mi llamo Dicem. Let's leave you there. Yeah. And then we'll just plaster it in this stuff, eh? Mic the I won't mic it. It's over an inch, isn't it? Very accurately put this old girl on here, eh? And see what she's saying. That's going to be our next machining operation. In French, this comes out at 446. Okay, that's close enough. This is a sort of the register area, yeah. So the flatness against this point here, and the closeness to this diameter here should mean that we get a repeatable position on this spindle. The threads, all the threads do is apply the pressure. You know, they're not actually locating anything. Is that dried? It is nice and warm at the minute, and that's dried off there quickly. Let's try this old girl on here. See what happens. It's tight. It is tight. It is tight. I don't know if this is going to show us anything. That will drop this on the lathe bed because it will put a great big dent in the ways, won't it? Whee. So where have you picked up? I'll tell you what, it's not very clean. I'm just going to clean this out before I try it again. So that's actually picked up. How's that picked up? We got that far along, didn't we? I think I should have cut a bit more out of this. Okay, so it's all back on the spindle now. Yeah, and what I have to do is synchronise it again. I suppose would be the right way of putting it. I'm hoping I can just butt my cutter up against the thread here, and when I engage the half nut on the cross slide, it will lock in. It should do. Don't see why it wouldn't. There we go. Doesn't want to. How else can we do this? Let's back it off, lock it in. There we go. And then wind it forwards. And the wheel engaged now, what I can do, I've got to be travelling in the forward direction, don't I? Take the backlash out of this thing. Yeah, because there is a lot of backlash in here, isn't there? We can do it on the cross side, I suppose. Cross slide. Right. That's where I want to be, I think. Just make that kiss. These are touching. Alright, we'll have a couple more passes. Yeah, I think. Don't really know, chaps. If this works, it's going to be an absolute masterpiece of guesswork, isn't it? Okay, so I'm just going to run a boring bar on the inside here and knock all the peaks off the threads. That's the only bit that's catching on the spindle now, and then put my 44.6 by 13mm register on the inside, so I'll basically get rid of the first couple of threads here, first 4 threads I suppose, and then the back side of this thing's done, isn't it, eh? Well, that's nice. That'll do nicely. Oh, got a bit tight. A little bit tight. Hey. Nice. Nice. That feels reassuring. See if we can get it off again. That's it. Okay. We can take that forger off now, can't we? Hey, lovely. That's ever so slightly proud, that is. I don't think that'll be a problem. Depends what we can do with the back here. Yeah. So obviously got to face this off. This is still rough cast. Yeah, no, that shouldn't be a problem. We'll just see how we go, eh? Quite chuffed with that. That's our first thread, folks, and it's something probably highly critical. Yeah, I've got a 4-jaw centering chuck. I don't know why. I don't know why I did this. It was kind of an experiment because I didn't know whether a 5-inch chuck would be okay on this lathe, because this lathe originally came with 4.5-inch, and you can't get 4.5-inch anymore. Not even from the English manufacturers like Bernard and that. I did look I wouldn't mind getting a decent chuck, a burner, just a smaller 3-jaw or something that's, you know, accurate, but not on the first attempt at backplate cutting, you know. I feel like we'll stick this cheap nasty Far Eastern chuck on, and what? Don't know. Obviously we've got a machine, a boss for it to sit on now, on the front of that faceplate. So I'll take a skim. Probably I won't take I won't take it back to, you know, fresh surface here on the inner diameter. I'll save it for the outside because I want to stay away from the end of the spindle. You know what I mean? Here we go. Cunning plan to save marking out the marking out what the 3 points I need in order to secure that back plate to the chuck. With this, not sure how I'm going to do it yet. This is my 3-point indexing head for the spindle. Right. I suppose I could have done it using the gears somehow. No, this is more fun. This is more fun. What can I lock this off against? Yes. Perfect. Okay, I'm not cutting it or anything, I'm just using the tool to scribe a line. Lovely. And now we'll switch the bar over. Do it again. And one last time. 3.
Pointing to the genuine points where Democrats and journalists misrepresent the science, blowing animal proportion, 12 years to save the planet, blah 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 blah. That is an open goal. He is well positioned. As a community, it's not immune from corruption. Kooning's promotion of his book has been a muddled slew of mixed messages. But the response to it has been gratuitously political and dismissive. I mean, in different ways, both sides let themselves down with poor communications, it's true, but the gulf between the scientific method
Well, I think we can all agree that that chuck looks completely out of place on my bloody lathe, doesn't it? It's not a nice looking chuck either, but it's alright. It was pretty cheap. And I don't think it's worthwhile me putting a chuck on my first attempt at a backplate. But there will be more attempts at backplates, yeah. So what? I've got the 4 drawers fine, absolutely, very little wear on my 4 drawer chuck. I would really like to find a 115mm or 4.5 inch chuck to go back on here. Even if it's old, especially if it's old, but just something a quality one. I was looking at Bernard chucks. I think they're cheaper ones, which are fine for me. I mean, they grade them as far as accuracy is concerned, so they've got the really accurate expensive ones that are about 300 quid for a 4 drawer chuck. I mean, for a 4 inch chuck, they're like good to like 20 thou or something like that. And then the less money you buy, the less money you pay, the less repeatable they are. But the main thing is the scroll on the inside. Look, I'll show you the scroll. Here's a cheap Chinese free drawer that I had on here. Fucking trains. I don't know if I can really show you, but I'll take these out anyway. Basically, look, it's doing it right now, even without any load on the jaws. I think it's galling in there, but also the way it's designed, it just lets a lot of shit in there, so you're forever cleaning it out and it's binding up on you. Nice chucks don't do that, and yeah, fucking rattles, doesn't it? Sanyo, these are pretty much the cheapest ones you can buy. This is what comes on the budget lathes if you buy a budget lathe. I only got the chucks in there that's binding up. I suppose there's a bit of swarf or something. Yeah. But this one used to be reasonably accurate, but it's just got less accurate, I suppose. I don't know what's worn in it, and because it's too small, it's only 4 inch as opposed to 4.5 inch. I sometimes use it with the teeth hanging out right on the edge here. So it's not like I'm really treating it very nicely, is it? Yeah, it's got bits of metal actually embedded in the register for the scroll. So what? I'm very happy with myself. Look, this is a lesson to everyone. Yeah, if you're putting off things because you're too bloody lazy to learn how to do something, like I have. You know, these two have both been sat in my workshop for a year now, and yeah, I finally pulled my finger out and fitted it up, and actually it wasn't such a big deal. Despite 95% of it being guesswork. If I'd have messed up the back plate, it would have been 20 quid down the drain, I suppose. But I didn't, or I didn't that badly that I couldn't use it, and what? Now I reckon that's a good starting point to learn how to to cut threads on my lathe properly, eh? Look, we've got a little dial down here. That's the thing that's meant to save me a lot of time, because that sort of tells you what phase your lead screw's in. I know that much, I just don't know how all this stuff works. I might watch a few videos or read a book or something, you know. I do have, you know, those workshop manuals. I think I've got one on the lathe. I think there's one even on just thread cutting, which I don't have. So maybe I'll get that, eh? And then when I do get a Bernard chuck, I'll be back with another. Or maybe we'll even cast our own massive brass. That'd be opulent, wouldn't it, hey? Decadent. We'll have a brass backplate next time, eh? I don't think so. It's got to be iron, isn't it? Anyway, yeah, hope you enjoyed that. Me muddling around, guessing how to do stuff. And I'll take it easy, folks. We're back on the hole, eh? Alright, let's get on with that. I'll see you later. Bye-bye. Alright, most importantly is what I'm forgetting. Yeah, this is a pretty manky bit of 1 inch stock. Wouldn't fit in my old chuck. Used to go in the old chuck that originally came with this machine, but oh yeah, it goes in there, right, doesn't it? What about actually into the chuck itself? Oh, I mean, what about all the way through? Oh, it should actually should go all the way through. What? Why aren't you going in? Damn it! What on earth? Must be some. Why aren't you going in? Oh, that's definitely not going in, is it? Oh well. I swear this thing takes a. Oh no, idiot! Oh, it's in there forever now. Anyway, at least I can get a big bit of 25mm most of the way into my lathe now. Hey, awesome. I'll catch you later, guys. Bye bye.